Have you ever been with a group of friends who started to talk about Star Wars and had no idea what they were talking about? My name is Avery Dalton Hostetter, and I'm going to inform you of the long history in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars is a very well-known piece of cinematic culture, which has had radical effects on the lives and dreams of people all around the globe, from 1977 to the present day. Firstly, we're going to discuss how it all began in 1977 with the originals. We will then follow up with the prequels, which would later be filmed in the 90s for a new generation of fans. In conclusion, we will discuss the timeline of George Lucas's Star Wars saga. In 1977, a young man named George Lucas wanted to bring to life a new genre in the film industry, a film about space. We see in an interview with Lucas on E.T., he started with an extensive story that was too long for one film. So Lucas decided to break the plot into 3 separate acts. The first act, produced in 1977, was Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, which landed a budget of $11 million. The composer chosen by Lucas for this episode and all moving forward was John Williams. The talented young cast included Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford. Following the success of his first film came Act 2. In 1980, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, which budgeted at $18 million. His third act, Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, was filmed in 1983 with a budget of $32.5 million. Years later, after the success of the first 3 original films in his saga, Lucas decided that it was time for the next part in his saga, the trilogy that set the stage and backstory for the originals, the prequels. Lucas began the first of these 3 films with Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, in 1999 with a budget of $115 million. His cast for this new generation of heroes included Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, and Natalie Portman. Following the success of his franchise, Lucas continued with Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, in 2002 with a budget of $120 million. Lucas then set his eyes on his final act of both the prequels and his saga, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, in 2005 with a budget of $113 million. George Lucas had finally completed his 6-film saga. We will now look at the timeline of George Lucas's Star Wars saga from 1977 to 2005. Star Wars Explained, a content creator on YouTube, suggests that in order to have the best viewing experience, you should start with the prequels, followed by the original 3. Begin with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, followed by Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and conclude the prequel trilogy with Episode 3, The Revenge of the Sith. Now that you have seen the beginning of the story and understand the background, move into the era of the originals, starting with Episode 4, A New Hope, followed by Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, concluding the saga with the final film, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. We have looked at the entire history of George Lucas's Star Wars saga, from the originals to the prequels. We were informed of what it takes to make cinematic history, like that which George Lucas has done. Star Wars is a very well-known title, which has had radical effects on the lives and dreams of people all around the globe, from 1977 to 2019. The timeline of Star Wars is a beautiful story that plays between love, action, friendship, horror, betrayal, humor, cliffhangers, and it holds the ideals of always fighting for what you believe in. George Lucas is now complete with his saga and has sold the rights of Lucasfilm to Disney, Disney is currently making headway in the next trio of adventures, with many more to follow after. It is now time for our next generation of heroes to embark on their journey that will change them forever, just as we have been changed by George Lucas's original creation.